Banana republics refer to politically unstable countries in Central America and the Caribbean, primarily dependent on a single agricultural export, particularly bananas. These nations often faced exploitation by foreign corporations, particularly American companies, leading to a lack of political sovereignty and economic independence. The term reflects the broader dynamics of foreign investment and military interventions that shape these nations' governance and economic landscapes. A banana republic is a country with an economy of state capitalism, where the country is operated as a private commercial enterprise for the exclusive profit of the ruling class. Typically, a banana republic has a society of extremely stratified social classes, usually a large impoverished working class and a ruling class plutocracy, composed of the business, political, and military elites. The ruling class controls the primary sector of the economy by exploiting labor. Such exploitation is enabled by collusion between the state and favored economic monopolies, in which the profit, derived from the private exploitation of public lands, is private property. At the same time, the debts incurred thereby are the financial responsibility of the public treasury. Therefore, the term banana republic is a pejorative descriptor for a servile oligarchy that abets and supports, for kickbacks, the exploitation of large-scale plantation agriculture, especially banana cultivation. Such an imbalanced economy remains limited by the uneven economic development of towns and countries and usually reduces the national currency into devalued banknotes, paper money, thereby rendering the country ineligible for international development credit. Banana republic, derogatory term for a country that has an economy dependent solely on revenue from exporting a single product or commodity. As a result, such countries are typically controlled by foreign-owned companies or industries. Banana republics usually have a highly stratified socio-economic structure, with a small ruling class that controls access to wealth and resources, and are politically unstable. The term has its origins in the development of banana plantations by American corporations and their exploitation of land and workers in Central and South America beginning in the late 19th century. Characteristics: a country labeled a banana republic has many distinguishing features. It has weak structures of governance, which often results in widespread corruption among government officials. Poverty is common, and the government, or a very small upper class, controls all resources. Measures of social and economic inequality are therefore typically high. People in lower classes are usually marginalized or oppressed, and so banana republics are prone to civil unrest or even frequent insurgencies or coup attempts. Typically, foreign corporations and other entities that own the country's infrastructure ultimately hold primary control. Thus, a banana republic is not a republic in the true sense, because its citizens have no sovereignty and cannot control the state through representatives. A banana republic can be considered, arguably, a form of state capitalism, because the country is operated by the state like a private commercial enterprise to generate monetary profits. Elections may happen, but they are usually rigged or run with a single candidate. Today the term banana republic is used by politicians and political commentators to describe scenarios of corruption, repression, and failures to control executive power. The term banana republic was coined by the American author O. Henry in 1901, in a short story later adapted for use in his first book, Cabbages and Kings, 1904. Henry describes a fictional country called Anchuria, this small, maritime banana republic, as the book says, which is based on his experiences in Honduras, where he lived for several months during the 1890s. But the deeper origin of the concept of a banana republic goes back to 1870, when Lorenzo Dow Baker introduced bananas that he bought in Jamaica to the United States, creating a demand for the fruit through marketing. The United Fruit Company took over a major proportion of this market. At the turn of the 20th century, United Fruit Company had banana plantations in many Central and South American countries. In Honduras, the American-owned Cuyamal Fruit Company bought land for banana plantations in 1910. Banana fruit production was at the time dominated by the United Fruit Company, which was exporting bananas to the United States. In 1911, Guatemal's founder, Samuel Zamuri, orchestrated a coup d'état with the help of mercenary Lee Christmas. The coup replaced the Honduran government with a military government headed by Manuel Bonilla, who gave concessions to foreign businesses, which in turn acted as de facto rulers of the country. The resulting political instability led to economic stagnation. Honduras's foreign debt grew, which further undermined Bonilla's puppet government and gave the corporations more power. In 1933, Zamuri dissolved Guatemal and took control of United Fruit, which then became the largest employer in Honduras until reforms in the 1940s. A similar sequence of events unfolded in Guatemala, where United Fruit played on the U.S. government's fears of communism during the 1950s. Democratically elected as the president of Guatemala, Jacobo Arbenz focused on major social reforms, which included nationalizing uncultivated land and distributing it to landless workers for cultivation, when he began his presidency in 1951. These reforms were significant threats to United Fruit. Arbenz, who was attacked as a communist sympathizer, was ousted in 1954 by a CIA-led coup called Operation Success and replaced with a pro-business leader. The Guatemalan government continued to be run by a series of U.S.-backed military rulers during a civil war that lasted from 1960 to 1996. Although democratically elected governments returned after 1996, economic inequality that has its roots in the United Fruit era continues into the 21st century in Guatemala, where more than half the population lives in poverty. The United Fruit Company operated in Colombia too, and, while it did not overtly control the government as in Honduras and Guatemala, its ability to cut off Colombian trade with the United States gave the company significant leverage over the Colombian government. This leverage was put to use in 1928, when United Fruit workers started a strike for better working conditions. The company refused to negotiate with the workers and organized the deployment of the Colombian army against them, resulting in what became known as the Banana Massacre. This massacre became more widely known through Colombian author Gabriel Garcia Marquez's depiction of it in 100 Years of Solitude 1967. In the novel, the arrival of an American banana company in the fictional town of Macondo leads to the killings of banana plantation workers and the economic downfall of Macondo. In another case of foreign fruit companies dominating local politics, King Kalakaua was forced to sign, in 1887, the Constitution of the Kingdom of Hawaii. This document, called the Bayonet Constitution because it was signed under threat of violence, was drafted by white businessmen affiliated with pineapple and sugar plantations. The Constitution stripped the king of most of his powers while also disenfranchising most indigenous Hawaiian voters. When his successor, Queen Liliuokalani, seemed as if she would abrogate that constitution, the Committee of Safety, a group of American and European businessmen, seized power in 1893, with the help of a company of U.S. Marines. A short-lived republic, which was in fact an oligarchy controlled by some of the same American and European businessmen, ensued until the administration of U.S. Pres. William McKinley annexed the islands as U.S. territory in 1900. The Chilean poet Pablo Neruda wrote about the corporate dominance of Latin American countries in United Fruit Co., from his epic poem Canto General, 1950. Banana republics typically feature highly stratified social orders, with depressed economies dependent solely on a few export crops. Both agricultural land and personal wealth are unequally distributed. During the early 1900s, multinational American corporations, sometimes aided by the United States government, took advantage of these conditions to build banana republics in Central American countries such as Honduras and Guatemala. In the 21st century, fruit and chemical companies such as Chiquita, United Fruit renamed itself Chiquita in 1990, Del Monte, Dow Chemical, Occidental Chemical, and Shell continue to fight litigation being pursued by farmers from Costa Rica, Ecuador, Guatemala, and Panama who argue that the company's use of the pesticide dibromochloropropanne, DBCP, from the 1960s to the 1980s caused their health problems, including sterility, birth defects, and an elevated risk of cancer. The term Banana Republic describes a struggling country whose economy depends on exporting natural resources, particularly agriculture, hence the banana, to larger, wealthier nations. These countries are politically unstable, making them susceptible to worker exploitation, government corruption, and foreign control. While Banana Republic used to be a commonplace term in political science, it's considered derogatory today. The term Banana Republic became an insulting term to describe Central American or tropical countries where poverty is widespread, the banana industry is critical, and political corruption and unrest are the norms. No country or government is officially designated as a banana republic, but economists, journalists, and others who study politics, economics, and industry sometimes use the term to convey the reality that exists in certain locations. As the term Banana Republic has evolved in the last century, it is no longer limited to countries in Central America or the tropics. Key characteristics of a banana republic in the modern world include widespread government corruption, tyrannical government, unstable government, civil unrest, coup attempt/insurgency, economic dependency on exporting a limited natural resource, which may or may not be bananas. Infrastructure owned/supported by out-of-country interests. Overall economic dependency on foreign investment or business entities. Widespread poverty. Enormous gap between the ruling class and the working class, no middle class. In the modern world, one could consider a country a banana republic for reasons beyond bananas and agriculture. Latin American countries that are economically unequal may be considered banana republics, as well as African countries that depend on exporting resources, such as diamonds, minerals, or agriculture. Some political scientists also consider Caribbean countries that rely on tourism to have traits of banana republics. Examples of modern-day banana republics may include Bangladesh, Brazil, Botswana, Chile, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Kenya, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Zambia. While many political scientists have moved away from the imperialism era term, the economic world doesn't seem as quick to make the move. For example, the Banana Republic clothing brand has not expressed a desire to change its name, claiming that it reflects a different interpretation of the term. As the 21st century progresses, terms like Banana Republic may fade from our conversation and writing. However, more important than the term itself is its legacy and implication in our global past, present, and future. Thank you for watching this video.